All right, shaking out all the presentation gremlins now, we can go ahead and get started. So my name's Shannon. Some of you, if you've been coming to the Cryptolina conferences, might remember me from the previous two conferences. I gave a talk on security on the blockchain and presented this idea of blockchains in the cloud. I run a project called Circuits of Value. I'm pretty active on the internet. The project is pretty quiet. I like to produce code and publish the software before I do self-promotion. So there's not a whole lot of information about the currency Circuits of Value or the Emblem project, which I'm doing right now, but there's enough to sort of tease at it. So Circuits of Value, or CoVal, is a cryptocurrency that it lives on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's a counterparty asset. It used to be called Ribbit Rewards. I inherited it when the company Ribbit.me changed their name and pivoted. So I took over that currency, and it was an altcoin. So we swapped it over to the Bitcoin blockchain and rebranded it. It's currently traded on Bittrex. So while I was working at Ribbit, I was building a web wallet, and this web wallet had some unique features. One of them was that it could support multiple different types of currency. So it supported the Ribbit Rewards coin and Bitcoin and Litecoin. And one day I was working on the code, and I noticed that there was a very strange bug going on. I would look at my Bitcoin addresses, but they looked like Litecoin addresses, and I didn't understand what was going on. As I dug deeper, I realized that I was able to turn the private keys that it was storing as Bitcoin private keys, and I was able to turn them into Litecoin addresses. Playing around with this, I was able to do this with just about every cryptocurrency. It's turn the same private key into different blockchain addresses. Fast forward a little bit, and this is when I inherited the Ribbit Rewards coin. I had this need to take it off of this altcoin Bitcoin fork. I didn't want to maintain the software. I just wanted to make sure that all the people that had the token were able to still use it and put it on Counterparty, where I didn't have to manage the development of the actual mechanics of the token. While I did this, I realized that using the bug, the feature that I discovered previously, it was pretty easy for me to let the users that were holding the token on one blockchain access them on another blockchain. When I created them on the new blockchain, they were able to use the same keys to send and receive. Fast forward a little bit more, and my now business partner and I were having a discussion. His name is Michael Sullivan, and among other things, he invented the term crowdfund. But we were having a conversation, and one of the questions we asked each other was, is it possible to make a Bitcoin address or a cryptocurrency address without knowing the private key? And at that point, no, it wasn't really possible, because how the mechanics of crypto systems work is you create a private key, and then from the private key you derive a public key, and then from the public key you derive your address. So we had a chicken and egg problem. So we decided we were going to get together and try and solve this problem. The result of solving that problem is Emblem Vault. So Emblem Vault is, we call it a wallet. It's like a wallet, but it's a tokenized wallet. What that means is that when you create this Emblem Vault, you are given a part of a secret share, and you're given a blockchain token. And what that blockchain token says is that you have the right to claim that vault. So you'll get access, you can view all of the addresses if you're the one that created it, and you're the one with that token. you can transfer the entire contents of this wallet to someone else as simply as sending the token to them. If you want to claim the wallet, you would send the token to a special address, and then that would initiate all of the shares coming together and send them to your wallet so you can claim the private keys. So one way that I like to describe it, an Emblem Vault is a digital version of a hardware wallet, right? Because with a hardware wallet, you don't necessarily know the private keys. You can't see it by looking at the hardware wallet, but you can see the addresses, you can put stuff in it, you can hand it to somebody else, they can accept it, they can then hand it to somebody else, and you know it's pretty secure. What it says on there is on there. Another interesting byproduct of how we did this is given Emblem Vault the ability to support just about every crypto system we can throw at it. So what that means is that we can support every cryptocurrency, every blockchain, anything that uses a random number generator to generate private keys, which happens to also include things like IPFS locations. DAT makes a peer-to-peer protocol that allows you to take a file or a folder on your computer and create a unique DAT address based on a private key and a public key, and then you can share that DAT address with other people, making those files discoverable to whoever knows the public key. So an Emblem Vault can hold those kind of things as well, enabling us to say that this universal wallet can hold all these cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens that live on Ethereum or EOS, or it can also hold files. So what can you do with an Emblem? Now that we've created this concept of making a tokenized wallet, it kind of changes the dynamic of, it blurs the line. What is a token? What is a wallet? So you can do things now like create a place, a vault that can be used for fundraising. And the creator doesn't necessarily know what the private keys, so they can't actually take the funds that have been raised, and they can share addresses with everyone. Another byproduct is that because the wallet itself is tokenized and the token represents your right to claim and open this wallet at a later time and claim the private keys, you can now do things like transfer the token back and forth, essentially transferring the contents of the wallet to other users, independent of any blockchain, or independent of the blockchain that the tokens are living on. So it raises an interesting aspect. So you can now not have to worry about the blockchain scaling issues. Right? I can put Bitcoin inside of an Emblem. I can put some Ether inside of an Emblem, and then I can send that Emblem around to multiple people, and the Bitcoin blockchain doesn't know that the Bitcoin's been transferred. It's stayed in the same address. The same with the Ether, the same with any of the other tokens or files that live within that Emblem as well. Another fun use case that we're seeing a lot of lately is collectible assets. So CryptoKitties is a good example. There are blockchain games that are starting to pop up. So now you can imagine collecting a group of these collectible assets, and you can show them off, or you can sell them, or I can trade my group of assets for your group of assets. Another fun thing that can be done with it is you can make grab bags, right? So you can buy a set of assets for me, and there'll be 15 in them, and maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get something really fun. So you can embrace all the fun we had with collecting sports and non-sports cards as a kid. So unfortunately I can't show the video, but what I've done for this conference is I've created a bunch of Emblem Vault cards, and some of them are NFC enabled, they all have QR codes, and I've put CryptoKitties on some, I've put Bitcoin on some, I put some Coval currency on it, I put some Ether on them. If you come to the unspecified table, where it's like right outside of here, you can have a chance, play a game, and have a chance to walk away with one of these Emblem Vaults. I'm running out of time here, but I really quickly wanted to mention some of the companies that I've partnered with. Unspecified is a team that I work closely with here in Raleigh, Durham, and they're my integration partner, and they're really making the software rock solid, where they work on the delivery and the security and make sure that what I'm offering is going to be scalable at enterprise level. Unlock has invented this new kind of encryption that basically allows the pieces of the emblem share, when I transfer them, to be re-encrypted for other users without anybody needing to decrypt them first. So they've implemented this thing called proxy re-encryption. Finest is where they're going to be our first major use case, and the big enterprise deployment. So they're doing crowdfunding for down payments for homes. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, come and anybody have any questions, you can come visit me at the Unspecified booth. That's it. Thanks.